Hello, my fellow modeling and tabletop gaming enthusiasts, and welcome to the Mediocre Modeler Show. This week, we're going to kind of do a little update to a video released back in May of this year, where I kind of showcased what I had done for my Marine Corps Bolt Action Army that far, which I think was command team, 2 infantry squads, 1 war dog, and a medium machine gun team. So I've been working, I'm not going to say feverishly, but, I've been putting in a fair amount of work, as you guys have seen, obviously, with the M4 Sherman project, the LVT video, a number of things that I've been working on in the last 4 months. But then I look back at it, I'm kind of like, that's all I got done. But then I realized there's also a lot of other stuff I got done, not related to this. So, yeah. So let's go ahead, head on down to the bench, and take a look at what else I've managed to add to my Marine Corps Army. All right, here is what I've gotten done for my Marines in the last 4 months, including a number of models that were just finished today. So starting at the front, we'll just kind of go over these briefly, and then I'll go a little more in depth. Up front, we've got 3 new officers, because it looks like the way that 3rd edition is going to build, you're going to need a lot more officers. So we've got a senior officer here, and then 2 more lieutenants here. We've got a squad of Marine Raiders back here, which were super fun to paint because these models just have so much character. We've got, of course, these are all the old metal ones. This is actually a metal one. These other 2 were made from the plastic kit. We've got another medic made from the plastic kit. Another medium machine gun team here. Got the 30 cal. Back here, we've got a flamethrower team. We've got a sniper team here, and not 1, but 2 bazooka teams. 1 is from so these guys came from the plastic box, and then these 2 came from the support weapons box. We've got a mortar team back here for the medium mortar with a spotter. And then, of course, you guys have already seen the M4A2. And I think I kept calling it an A3. It's an M4A2, M4A3, and then, of course, the LVT A2. And then we've got a pair of half tracks. The 3D prints, again, Night Sky miniatures. So we've got the M3, and then we've got an M2 here. These 2, as well as the 3 officers, literally just got finished today. So let's go ahead and get a little closer look at these guys. The angle of my camera stand and light makes it a little tough to get a close-up some of these. So here are the officers. So we've got our senior officer up there, and then our 2 lieutenants. And of course, with the I decided to just mark them out with some red and gold, kind of like traditional Marine Corps colors. Traditional, at least they were in the last 20-30 years. Yeah, and they've got the Gamer's Grass plants on there as well to match the rest of them. I'm working on retrofitting these onto the rest of the bases. I think the medic, wherever right there's our medic. And the way that I'll be able to tell is he's got the medic bag, the U.S. Navy bag, the corpsman bag. But he doesn't have those yet, and neither does this other MG team. So we've got the 3-man MG team here with the 1919. We've got our guy back here running up, carrying the tripod, and this guy as well. And then, of course, we've got the Marine Raiders. Just so much character in this particular unit, except for this guy here, who I've painted 3 times now. So he was the original officer, as well as this one. I had a second like support box. So no, not that guy. This guy. I just gave him a different colored beard, but they're all slightly different. One has a beard. One of the ones I've done doesn't have a beard. This one has a beard, and so does this guy. But I just gave him, and binoculars aren't the same. Whatever, it's cool. But no, the Marine Raiders were awesome. A lot of characters. So there's like 3 rifles, 1 shotgun, 4 SMGs, and 2 BARs. So I think for running regular games is not Marine Raiders. I'm gonna have to call one of the SMGs a rifle or something, or I'll just run them as Marine Raiders. But probably my favorite character in the whole group is this guy here. I just think the posing of him reloading his rifle is awesome. Thought it was really well done, really well sculpted. But my second, oopsie daisy, and I dropped him a second time. My second favorite is probably this guy, just in the pose, shooting. I think is really awesome. So that, and there's a little less green to paint. But yeah, he turned out really well, I think. So yeah, so then back over this way, we've got the flamethrower team, which again is from like the Marine Corps support weapons box. So we've got our flamethrower guy here, and then we've got our extra guy with shotgun. Then going over to the other side, we've got our 2 bazooka teams. So I'd actually made this bazooka team from the plastic kit first. You know, fits pretty well. And then, of course, got to have his extra man. And see these guys. Oh, yeah, they did get that. So I've got 2 bazookas for some extra anti-tank. And then, of course, we've got the one from the support weapons box. Just slightly more detailed. And, of course, these are the Warlord resin. So they're deceptively light. You know, I would expect them to be a little bit heavier, but they've almost kind of got the detailing of the metal ones. And then we've got our support guy with his box of bazooka rounds. And then we've got our sniper team back here. A guy with our scoped 1903, as well as our spotter with his rifle. And then he's also got his little, I had to detail up his map a little bit. And then we've got our medium mortar team back here. Got to have those medium mortars. And then, of course, we've got a spotter for the mortar team as well. And then, of course, you have seen the M4, the Pacific M4. Obviously, we did a big project on that. And then you guys absolutely loved this, was the LVT. I mean, the response to this video, just the showcase video, was incredible. So we've got the LVT here as well in all its glory. But, quick transition. We've got these 2 half tracks, the M3 and the M2. So we'll take a look at these a little bit closer, because even though I did a video on these, this one specifically, the M3, but I painted that up as an Army ambulance. But this one just is a generic Marine Corps half track with the USMC, which I'm out of these decals now, so I'm gonna need to source some more. Yeah. But then I also did get a print run of these M2 half tracks with the crew. So it's open, these ones are open top because I wanted to have the 30 cal gunners. Very similar, but they did an amazing job getting a lot of the details right and the comparisons between the M2 and the M3 that I didn't know about until after I already built them and watched a video on it. But again, Night Sky Miniatures 3D print files. And I picked this one specifically because I wanted the water-cooled 30 cal, the 1917, in a somewhat active position. The only thing that I haven't accounted for is where it is actually the water tank for the cooling jacket. But they're technically Army figures because they don't, not in specific Marine Corps uniforms. I just painted up as Marines. They look good enough, and it's going to work. But everyone knows it's Marine because it's got USMC. But yeah, so some of the details that I do kind of want to call out on this one specifically, being the M2, is you've got these in here. So you've got the fuel tanks at the back, and then these are actually ammunition stowage bins that are accessible from the outside out here, this little hatch, because this was originally intended to be a scout vehicle slash like artillery tractor or prime mover. So they had these ammunition racks for artillery. Could also be mortars and stuff as well. And there's no hatch in the back, and it's also got the skate rail around the outside. So I do have some 30 cals, some additional water-cooled 30 cals. I've also got some air-cooled 1919s, or 1919s I could add to that as well if I wanted to. But I could save those for the other, because I've got 2 more of these. Figure at least 1 more for the Marines, and then probably another 1 for the Army. But all weathered up and nice. Just kind of a quick comparison. Also, note the M2, which was actually manufactured at the same time as the M3. I watched a really great sorry, watched a really great video the other night on how the differences between the M2 and the M3. I can't remember who put it out. There was like the U.S. Armored Military Museum or something. I can't remember. But the back of the armored compartment ends about in line with the rear of the tracks and has this little step here, whereas the M3 goes all the way down, just straight at the back, but extends just a little bit further past the edge of the tracks. And also, there's this hatch at the back of the M3. So, yeah. I'm sure you guys really wanted to know that, but that's how you learn things. Cool, but yeah, no, definitely highly recommend. But yeah, so here are the Marines. This is what I've gotten done in the last 4 months since the original video went out for the update. And I think there's a pretty good chance a lot of these could be running in the same army. I mean, not all the special weapon teams, but yeah. So it's been a lot of fun. I've got a few more things in the works. Mainly these War Dog teams. Black Seas. Don't look back. Commission work. Oh, that's Clash of Steel. That's a T-54. But yeah, these War Dog teams are going to be next to be painted. So that's where we're at after, geez, it's only been about 9 months or so that I've been working on this Marine Army. So I think things are coming along pretty well. And I've got a few other small things. Like I've got another MMG team I could add to it if I wanted to. But yeah, so here's where we're at now. Well, I've managed to add more than just a few things in the last 4 or 5 months since the first video. It's been a lot of fun working on these. It's having spent so many years doing just Warhammer that moving back into the historical side it's reminded me why I liked doing historical stuff so much. But at the same time, especially getting this Corsair build log underway, I'm also reminded why I struggle with historical stuff sometimes, because with heresy and with sci-fi, there's a massive, it's all gray area because none of this stuff is real. But with the historical stuff, it is very real. You can say, oh, well, the M4A2 had this, but the M4A3 didn't. Or a P-51B only had 4 machine guns, where a P-51D had 6. Stuff like that. Or this particular model, subtype of this aircraft never carried this particular armament. Well, there's no pictures to show it, but they had to come up with the idea for it and test it somewhere. Little spoiler alert, foreshadowing. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, the M4 Sherman project and the LVT were some of the most fun I've had in a long time. Trying to be at least somewhat historically accurate, but also just not really pushing it, like, making it somewhat mediocre. Just not having to have every single thing exactly perfectly correct has been really nice, which is something that I struggled with as a scale modeler. Don't get me wrong, I still love scale modeling, I just don't do much of it anymore. But getting back into this Corsair project, it's reminding me why I liked it so much. But it's also, again, like I said before, it's reminding me why I struggle with it, because trying to get everything just so, and just right, has to have the right markings and everything. It's kind of fun in its own way, but at the same time, it's also a bit of a drag, because you're going through all this extra effort for tiny little things. And at this point, it's kind of like, well, if I put this out for display and someone says, oh, well, actually, this didn't have this or that, I'm just going to be like, you can't tell me with 100% accuracy that I am in fact wrong, because they came up with the idea for whatever it is they did in some way. Just the nitpicking. I mean, mainly that's the big part of why I didn't ever do modeling contests. I mean, I entered one contest. The one aircraft model that I entered didn't win anything, but the sci-fi kit and the gaming figure I entered did. So I guess that tells you something. But yeah, I think of all of these, yeah, the LVT is probably my favorite. I think that one turned out the best. Probably had the best reaction to that one, but it also, it was just so easy, and it was so different than anything I've done before. So it was so much fun. But I mean, all of it's been fun. You know, even painting, 10-man squads of infantry might, sometimes it does seem kind of like it's a bit of a slog, but you get through it, you see the end product, it's like, okay, that's pretty awesome, But yeah, I think I'm at the point where I should probably actually like learn how to play, but we're right on the cusp of 3rd edition coming out, so I need to worry about getting a rule book first, and then, figuring out my army build, because reading through the previews that Warlord gave us for how army building is going to work, and I've saved those pictures on my phone to get a better idea of what I can have in each little platoon, which again is the reason I added 3 more officers, because that should just about cover me. Although I do need to figure out something for an armored platoon, because that's going to be pretty cool, because now I can run, a couple armored vehicles, assuming my understanding of what they previewed is correct. So, but yeah, everything else is just transports. I mean, the LVT is technically just a transport, just loaded with guns, but it's a transport. And then the half-tracks, of course, as well. Got to have machine guns on your half-tracks. Medium machine guns for life. Even though the vehicle, that's right, the vehicle-mounted ones only get half the shots now, so... Oh well, that's fine. We'll make it work. We'll just spam half-tracks. Half-tracks and half-tracks. Upon half-tracks. Mechanized Marines. There you go. That's what the table needs to see, is mechanized Marines, so I can get more medium machine guns on the table. That's one thing that does kind of, I think it's going to take me a little bit of adjustment coming from Heresy, where something like your standard transport, like a Rhino, was like 35 points. Basically dirt cheap, but you're also playing like 2,500, 3,000 point armies. Whereas bolt action, maybe you're playing 1,000 points, and a half track is like 40 points or 50 points, something like that, depending on your experience level. We'll figure it out. I mean, 2 half tracks, yeah, they're cool. I want to keep them in. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Sorry, I keep sidetracking myself. Had a lot of fun working on this project so far, and I'm kind of wondering, what other stuff I want to add. So, like I showed you, I've got the new War Dog team, so then I could eventually end up with a War Dog team of 3, which would be kind of cool. I've got the remainder of a support group box, so I stole the officer out of there. I already did the mortar team, so I've got a 3rd medic. I've got a radio operator / forward observer, which I will need for my aircraft. And then I've got another medium machine gun team. Really do need to get some artillery, so I need to just find an extra $35 laying around and get the medium artillery, get that 75mm mortar for the Marines. Marines got to have fire back. They got to have fire support. Maybe even more than one. Again, this whole new army building thing is I'm kind of excited about it. As well as, possibly another mortar team. We'll have to see. But yeah, I'm trying to think of what else to add. I would like to add, like an M3 gun motor carriage, or a T12 or a T19. T19 might be the howitzer. I think a T12 is really what I want. Again, just to add some variety, just stuff that you don't see, that's had rules for a time, but you never see on the tabletop because there was never a model. I mean, there's still, like, Warlord doesn't make them, but, there's still models out there that you can get. So, yeah. But anyway, folks, I sure do hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. You can check those links down below to find me on Facebook and Instagram, which are probably the best place to contact me. If you do have any questions, you can just shoot me a message on either platform. Also, check the link for my Warlord affiliate link. If you want to go pick up some of these models from Warlord Games, definitely hit that link. Even just clicking the link and visiting the site from my link helps things out as well. But yeah, questions, comments, concerns, like I said, either comment down below or hit me up on my social media platforms. So, as always, thank you very much, folks, for watching. I sure do hope you enjoyed the show. And until next time, may your paints be thin, your brushes be pointy, and your dice be hot.